Have you suddenly been receiving notifications from Google saying that your Google storage is almost full and you need to free up space or purchase more storage? Well, you're not alone. There's probably thousands of people that receive this notification daily. And in this video, I'm going to show you what the likely culprit was to causing this excess data storage and how we can resolve it. So if you're ready to get going, let's get started. So before we get into understanding what the culprit is, I want to talk a little bit about Google storage so you understand what's happening here. Now, I've taken a screen grab of my Google storage on my phone, and I'll first note that I believe the Google storage for a free account is 15 gigabytes, and you see mine is bigger than that. Well, I went ahead and purchased some additional storage, so that's why my numbers are different. But the main interest on this chart is to see the different colors and how those colors identify what's being stored there and where we can go attack that to reduce how much is being stored. And typically the largest culprit, and it is probably my case here too, is my Google Photos. Basically, it has photos and videos in there, and that eats up a lot of space, particularly in today's age where when you take a photo with these new iPhones, they can be 15 to 20 megabytes a piece, which when you're throwing 100 of those, you're now adding a lot of storage requirements. And then you talk about videos. Videos are the big culprit when it comes to data storage. So most likely this is where your biggest problem is. Looking farther on this, you can see Google Gmail is also another big culprit. Well, it's not the Gmail messages themselves, it's the attachments that you put on your Gmail messages that you send to people. Attachments are typically pictures or videos or something like that, and they too are stored in Google storage for your account, and that eats up more space. And the last one that's on here is Google Drive. And I suspect most people are not aware of what Google Drive is, but my guess is what's happening is you're trying to attach a video or multiple pictures to an email, and when that exceeds Google's limit on Gmail attachments, it takes all that and puts it over into your Google Drive. Then it creates a link to all that, puts that in the email, and then sends that off to the people that you're sending the email to. So rather than them opening up those images and videos in the email, it sends them to your drive, allows them to look at them there, and then download them if they want to from your Google Drive. So there again, your attachments from Gmail are likely causing overflow into your Google Drive. So in this video, we're going to show you first how to stop the bleeding. Then we're going to go into each of those, Google Photos, Google Gmail, and Google Drive, and clean those up to reduce the amount of storage you have in your Google account. So the first thing we're going to do is, I mentioned, stop the bleeding. So why is this happening all of a sudden? Well, if you remember back when you downloaded the Google Photos app, there's typical pop-ups that tell you, ask you questions about how do you want to set this up. And the first one I think it asks is, do you want to store your photos and videos from your iPhone into Google Photos? And at the time you say, man, I like that idea. Now I've got a backup. I don't have to worry about if something happens to my phone or my iCloud backup isn't up to date. I've got all those pictures over there. Well, think about how many pictures you have and how many videos you have. And when you talk about 15 megabytes a picture and maybe 2 or 3 gigabytes of video, that eats up your 15 gigabytes pretty fast. So what we need to do to quote unquote stop the bleeding is go in and turn off that backup. And to do that, I'm going to flip over now to my screen recording on my iPhone and show you just how you go about doing that. The first step that we want to take care of is shutting off the backup on Google Photos. Now that's likely the cause for your Google storage to fill up because it simply copied all your photos and videos to the Google Photos, and if you're like me, you probably have a lot of them. So let's go to the Google Photos app, which is in the second to last row here to the right, and click on Google Photos. And as you see right below my Google account, it says Backup. We click on Backup, and you can see that it says Backup is on, and to back up all photos and videos on this device automatically, which is likely what caused our problem. So we simply hit that slider to the right, and it turns off and notifies that by the red dot with the exclamation point saying the backup is off. So we've, as I've mentioned, stopped the bleeding, and no more will any of your photos or videos from your iPhone go to Google Photos. The next thing we want to take a look at is your Gmail and how we can look at your attachments and get rid of the ones that are eating up a lot of storage space. And there's a pretty slick way of doing that. So again, I'm going to flip back to my screen recording on my iPhone and show you how we go about finding those and cleaning them up. Now that we've shut off the backup, the next thing we want to do is delete the photos from Google Photos. And you can see I've got my Google Photos still open. And once again, I want to click on my image in the upper right-hand corner to show my account. And then right below where it said backup, it says account storage. So we'll click on that. And as you can see, here's my breakdown of my storage. And again, in my case here, the Google Photos takes up 35 gigabytes, Google Drive 15, Gmail 12, which is attachments. And so what we want to do first is tackle the Google Photos, because that's probably going to give you the most space cleanup that you need. So if we go to the bottom here, right below it, it says cleanup suggestions. And it says large photos and videos. If you click on that, it will show you all the large photos and videos that you have, the biggest ones. And as you can see in each picture, there's a number. This first picture says 392, next one 353, and the next one 286. That's how big those files are. You can simply select the ones that you want to delete by just touching the upper left corner, those circles, and they highlight. I want to do that. Or if you want to delete them all, you go to the check mark to the left of the large photos and videos button, or square, click on that, and now you can see they're all highlighted. And at the top it says you're going to clear up 4.13 gigabytes of 4.42 by hitting the delete button. So that's how you clean those out, the biggest photos and videos that you have, and that likely will clear up enough space for you so you no longer get that message. But if you don't want to do that, we're going to go back in the upper, I'm going to uncheck that and go to that upper left-hand corner and go back. Go back one more into Google Photos. If you simply want to go through your pictures and delete them one by one or group by group, you can do that as well. So how do you do that? Well, let's take this first line that says today. I only have one picture there. I took this just as an example. You can click the little check mark to the right of today, and you see it put a blue check mark next to that picture. So that means when I hit the delete trash can at the bottom, that will delete that picture. But you can continue on, and let's see, we'll find another day here. I will try Friday. I'll click on, you can see there's the individual pictures now show a dot that you could click on to select that. And we'll go down farther. Here's a couple more I want to do. And let's see, we'll get one more here. If we go to Friday, June 11th, and I click on the dot there, it automatically checks the picture as well. So now at the upper left, it says I have 5 pictures that are going to be deleted. We'll go back up to the top, and I guess you could stay where you're at. I want to click on the trash button at the bottom, and it says allow Google Photos to delete these 5 items, and it gives you a warning that these will be deleted from iCloud Photos on all your devices and will stay in the recently deleted for 30 days, just in case you want to recover them. Now, just a point about saying it will be deleted from iCloud Photos. What that means is it's not touching your photos on your iPhone or in your iCloud storage for iPhone photos. This is iCloud's backup of Google Photos. So in this case, we want to hit the delete button, and you do that and those pictures are gone. So there's an option to selectively decide what you want to take out of Google Photos. But if you want to do it the mass way, we'll do it one more time. Click in the upper right corner, click on Account Storage, go down to Cleanup Suggestions here, select large photos and videos, and either click the check mark to the left of the blue box to delete them all, or go down through these that are showing the largest ones in your Google Photos. Touch the circle in the upper left corner of each picture. And once you've done that, you hit the delete button in the upper left-hand corner. The next thing we want to take a look at is your Gmail and how we can look at your attachments and get rid of the ones that are eating up a lot of storage space. And there's a pretty slick way of doing that. So again, I'm going to flip back to my screen recording on my iPhone and show you how we go about finding those and cleaning them up. The next thing we want to attack is emails with large attachments. And as you look at the bar of my usage, Gmail has 12.45 gigabytes, and that's predominantly from the attachments that I've tried to mail. So if we go down under Cleanup Suggestions and click on Emails with Large Attachments, it shows the emails with the largest attachments. And if you look at the first one there, it shows 12.1 megabytes to the right. The next one shows 6.7 megabytes. And in the individual lines, it shows there's one image plus two more on the first one. The 6.7 megabytes is done by two images down below on the second one there, and so on. So you can selectively go in and click on these to select the ones you want. Or like with the photos, if you click the check mark to the left of the blue box, it highlights them all. And then at the top it says, by doing this, you're going to clean up almost 540 megabytes out of 1 gigabyte by hitting the delete button. So that's how you clean it up in a mass form. But if you want to do them individually, so you want to keep some of these, you just come down and let's see, we'll click on one here, that one, and hit the delete button. Again, it reminds you, do you really want to do this? And if you do it, you click on the dot there and say permanently delete. I'm not going to do that because I want to keep that, but that's how you do them individually. All right, the last thing we're going to look at is Google Drive. And as I mentioned, you probably are not familiar with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back to my iPhone again in the screen recording and show you how you can see what's in your Google Drive and decide whether you want to keep it or delete it, thus freeing up more space. The last one we're going to look at is Google Drive. And as I mentioned before, this likely is that you've tried to connect attachments to Gmail that are larger than they will allow. And so what Google does is it puts what you're asking to be attached into your Google Drive, creates a link, and takes that link and puts it in the email. So when you send it to the person simply has to click on that link to open up your attachments that are in your Google Drive. So how do we clean that up? Now, if you look under the cleanup suggestions down below, there's one that says large drive files. You click on that. And what you see here are files that were attachments that I tried to send by email. And if you look in the lower left corner of the pictures, you can see how big these files are. First one is 2.09, the one to the right of that's 1.82, and so on. And so you can't send those by Gmail. But it did put these videos into my Google Drive and sent a link in my email to those people. Well, I don't want them anymore, so there's two ways of doing it. Like before, you can click on each individual picture in the upper left-hand corner where the dot is, and it highlights those. I'll uncheck those. Or if you simply want to get rid of all of them, to the left of that box that says large drive files, click on the check mark in blue now, and you can see each image or video in this case is highlighted and checked. And now it says if I hit the delete button, I will clean 14.07 gigabytes out of 14.8 gigabytes selected. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to hit the back arrow. But that's how you can mass clean your Google Drive of images or videos that were probably placed there by Google to allow you to send them by email. So there you have it. Now you understand why your Google storage space is filled up. You've stopped the bleeding, as I've said, by turning off the backup. And we've also gone back into your Google Photos, Gmail, and Google Drive and got rid of the pictures and files and videos that you no longer need stored in those, to clean up your Google storage to a level that you don't have to worry about purchasing more storage space. Now, I will make a comment here. I believe it's like $199 a month, maybe it's $299 a month, to bump from 15 gigabytes up to 100 gigabytes of storage. And for my mind and for my money, that's a pretty good value. I mean, if you go out daily and buy a cup of coffee for $3, you know, one of those cups of coffee will take care of your monthly charge for having 100 gigabytes of storage for all your Google apps. And I've only talked about 3 of them, Google Photos, Google Gmail, and Google Drive. There's other Google apps out there that also have storage requirements that you may be using that this would help as well. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're interested in more videos on iPhones, iPads, PCs, and even how to have your home be a smart home, check out my channel, RS Tech LO. There's all sorts of goodies there that might help you getting tech integrated into your life.